Tuesday. I have some new lighting, as you can tell, and I can do some pretty cool tricks with it, and I'm excited. It was super cheap. Spared no expense, as John Hammond would say. Spared no expense. But you know, small details. Yeah, we got that mood. Let's talk about some arpeggios and how to make them easy. How to make arpeggios easy. Let's gain it up a little bit. Put some gas in the tank. Courtesy of the gearbox. Cool. And I hope all the audio is good for everybody. Hope it's all good. Yeah, so the lights match the guitar. I think that's a nice touch, and I can change the colors on the lights. It's just, you know, it's the small things. It's the small things. So, arpeggios made easy. I posted a video on Instagram, and I'll probably make a long-form video of this for YouTube to be a reference point. But I posted a clip of me playing over Truth and Line. I remember somebody last week was like, oh, you got to quit playing that song. I was like, never. It's like open road. I love to practice over that tune. And I used some arpeggios in this tune, and I posted them on Patreon. So the Patreon members have already seen a little bit of this, but I want, and that's a complex set of arpeggios. There's a bunch of fourths that are stacked, and I think it's better if we just start with arpeggios made easy, ground zero level for arpeggiation. And you know, look, this is an interesting point of topic because for some of you guys, it's going to be so far below your pay grade that you're not even going to tune in. But for other guys, I feel like it's going to be super beneficial because there's a lot of myth and a lot of big words that get thrown around, especially if you're the type of the player that just likes to go to the jam or play in your cover band and you learn by tabs or you just learn by ear and you're not really thinking about things. You're just letting the hand do what it knows how to do, right? This is an interesting thing. I'm going to turn on this second camera here and see if we can have camera 2, camera 1, camera 2, camera 1, camera 2, camera 2, right? Okay. So, and this Queen shirt is awesome, by the way. I'm super proud of that. So with arpeggios, we got to understand what they are first. And can songwriting be taught? Yeah, in a sense, yes, but not today. Not today. We can do that, but not right at this second. Let's talk about this. Will help you in your songwriting, though. Understand what I'm about to say will help you in your songwriting. So, first of all, arpeggios are nothing but notes from the chord that you're playing. Okay, so if we're playing C and we have the chord of C, you know, an arpeggio isn't leaving notes out. I mean, it is technically, but guitar players think of arpeggios and they just immediately just do this weird thing where they go, yeah, arpeggio. And they play like a really sloppy sweep. And they're like, yeah, that's an arpeggio. I'm like, well, it is, but do you know what makes it an arpeggio? It's very much like, could this be an arpeggio? You know? And the answer is yes, it absolutely can be an arpeggio, right? going to do is study what the arpeggiation stuff is, okay? So like toast, right? So we're going to have 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 1. Voice needs to be brought up a little bit. Okay, let me see if I can do that real quick. Hang on just a second. Bringing the voice up a couple of dB. That should do it. I hope that helps. I can also move the microphone in. I'm trying to prevent some feedback here. So, okay, now we got 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 1. Okay. Tying each one of those scale degrees to a numeric is super important. So instead of thinking of things like C, D, E, F, G, A, B, I'm saying I'm in the key of C, that's my starting note, and then I'm going 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 1. The reason is if you tell me to play an E flat, which might scare a lot of people off because they're not tuned down a half step or whatever, but you just say, okay, now it's still 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 1. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. So the same stuff can be played in multiple keys really easily because we're thinking of numerics. Now, what an arpeggio is, typically it's the root, third, fifth, then complex arpeggios would incorporate other intervals around that. Let me say that one more time so it's crystal clear. Typically the arpeggio is root, third, fifth, 1, 3, 5, and then from there you would incorporate other intervals to make something super sweet happen. Cool Guy Zone arpeggio would happen if you add another interval. So let's just start with scale 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 1, right? 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 1. Okay, cool. Now what we're going to do from here is we're going to look at the chord tones. Now, don't chime in and start listing extensions and 13s and 7ths and all this stuff. Stop that. We'll get to you. You put your hand down, okay? What we're going to do is just say the 1, 3, and 5. So we got to find 1, 3, and 5. Now, the idea is that you're not memorizing this from a fret standpoint, but from a distance standpoint, okay? And by distance, that means that the same interval can be played on the same string, okay? If we play 1, 3, and 5 on the same exact string, it's going to lay out very Van Halen-y, okay? This is where I think Ed got it from with the piano player in him. So if we have 1, 3, 5, look. If we move that up a whole step, now if we move that through a string set, I'm just playing 1, 3, 5, okay? 1, 3, 5, and then we're going to move it up from the D to the G to the C. So we're going to play a D major arpeggio, a G major arpeggio, and a C major arpeggio. And check out what it does. It's the intro to Spanish Fly. Then you have the Long Ridge. So these arpeggios, all of these are just 1, 3, 5s stacked around. That's a major arpeggio, and that's very Van Halen-y, okay? But that kind of only exists within the realm of playing Van Halen style, 80s shred style arpeggiation, okay? So if we want that same set of intervals, but we don't want to Van Halen it, and maybe we need a tempo that's not, you know, like that, not like that, we're not shocking somebody with a cattle prod. Maybe we need something slow. So now I'm still playing 1, 3, 5, and I have two ways to do it, right? We have 1, 3, 5, right? And then we also have the grip. This is the grip where the root and the third are on the same string, okay? Like this in camera 2. The next grip is where the root and the third sit like this, okay? You dig what I'm getting it like that right there? So now you have, see, that's still root 3. This is super important because your plan of attack when you're improvising can shift, and you may want an access point to the geometry of the fretboard. That's really what you're unlocking here. That you may want an access point of the geometry of the fretboard that's in a different area. So like if I'm coming down a line versus it might be different that way, right? So it's always shifting in how I want to come down it. Right? That's a different way. This stuff is just different plan of attack, different just visualization things. This isn't really how I play the guitar, but it's kind of how I see the guitar. There's two different things at play right there. I play the guitar one way, and I try to play with the ear leading and playing from a point of imagination and trying to sing the line in my head and hum the sound in the head that I want. But the visualization aspect is what allows that stuff to be available on the fly in an improvisational setting. Does that make sense? So now we have, where do we use sweep arpeggios in country? I mean, wherever you want to get fired from, I guess. That's where I would use it. Whatever gig I wanted to lose. So, but now it's a good question. We'll get to that. Basically what we're trying to do is just get a visualization. We'll get a visualization here of two ways to do it. So basically we're playing out of C. And if we visualize where the root is every time, the C, right? That means that we've got our grip for 1, 3, 5 around it. Or we've got this is all the stuff that Vi uses. It's all of the, whatever that is. That one, the Jack Butler thing. So he's playing just the arpeggios around it. Now, if you can visualize that and you have your root, now you can move those C notes to every bar chord that you have and have the same information and have the arpeggios around new bar chords. So you got the Van Halen one, the Spanish Fly. You could put it down a string set and do it here. And now if you've got the grip that's like this, remember that one right there? Now you can combine them with other roots and play the same grip again. Going, right? It just kind of keeps going into every chord that exists, and then you can start having your fun with it. Now, there's a long way to the end of the road, which I don't think anybody ever gets to, but then there's where we're at, which is the very starting point. It's like the on-ramp to arpeggios. So obviously, this is a great point in the video. If this stuff is baffling you, or if you're just kind of barely understanding it, then this is a great point to pause the video and visit your fretboard and start putting it around different chords. So if I said, okay guys, now we know the 3 kind of shapes to do 1, 3, 5. Now let's play that in like E flat. So it's like now you can start to see other areas of the fretboard kind of become unlocked. This is all major chord information, okay? Moving it around to the different keys to get yourself used to it. So like, let's say you wanted to play, what's got a lot of major chords in it? You could take the chords and break them up and play the chords to like Praying for Daylight, which is an interesting chord progression. It's a flats tune, or like 8 Days a Week, the Beatles. You know, you take those chords. Tune it up. From 8 days a week, you can use that as a practice tool. So sorry. One more time. So I'm using just these chords of I'm using that is because you have 3 major chords in a row. You have D, E major, and G major, and it's a great place to practice these arpeggios. Look, you could do it on you could do it over that, right? And you have a way to have some songs in your head, or at least a blueprint, to where you're not blindly just sitting there with your guitar noodling, not letting anything kind of give you guidance. Again, I'm not suggesting blow arpeggios over these songs. What I'm suggesting is let those chord progressions just be a little bit of a roadmap on something to your angle of attack on how to practice this stuff. So like, yeah, like Sweet Home Alabama, you can look at it from just just try to do the Jessica shape. Do you know what I mean by the Jessica shape? It's the D one, like this. So if you have the Jessica shape and you're going to play Sweet Home Alabama, that's also Sweet Child of Mine too. Now, the next thing that I think gets people confused in arpeggios for beginners, or the on-ramp to arpeggiation, is what it means to invert the arpeggio. Like Top Gun, I saw him because I was inverted. Okay, when you invert an arpeggio, don't let that word scare you, because it's exactly what this stuff is. We're just starting on one of the different chord tones. So, for example, if we're going to have an inversion of D major, and let's use this Sweet Home Alabama, Sweet Child of Mine, we'll call it Sweet D, baby. Give me that Sweet D. So that Sweet D arpeggiation, if we're going to have a inversion of that, that means that we would start on the third. Okay? Sorry, somebody's calling me. People don't know I'll be live streaming. Don't call me while I'm live streaming. Okay, so if we're going to have an arpeggiation that is inverted, okay, the first version of an arpeggiation is 1-3-5. The next arpeggiation is going to be the same chord. Okay, this doesn't change the chord that you're playing. But what we're going to do is, instead of playing 1, 3, and 5, we're going to mix it up and play 3, 5, 1. Sorry, that's not right. What did I just do? I'm a dingus. It's this. See, okay. So 1, 3, 5, 3, 5, 1, or it could look like this, or this. Sometimes, you know, you want to choose if you want to keep the notes amount the same on each string. So this one has 2 notes on the A string, 1 note on the D string. So if this one's 3, 5, 1, we could do 3, 1, 5. Let's do 5, 1, 3. Is still just D, because the triad hasn't changed. You see what I'm getting at? We've taken 1, 3, and 5 of the scale. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 1. Taken 1, 3, 5 of the scale, and now we've just reversed its order, Top Gunned it, mavericked it into inversions. So what I just played got into the next topic, and we'll get there in a second. But connecting all of these would just, as you start and stop, it would depend on which inversion. I wouldn't really think about it so much as I would try to listen to it. Do I want this sound? Do I want that, or do I want maybe... Sorry, it's doing this weird sign-in thing again, which I hate. It's so dumb. I'm sorry that it's doing this. That should have fixed it, I hope. Yeah, okay. All right. That should fix it. Okay, so to review, the arpeggio is the 1, 3, 5 of the scale. An inversion of that arpeggio just means that you're going to put something else on the bottom. Now, before we move forward and get to any extensions, let's talk about this for a second, because there's some cool stuff that can happen in how you place these on the string sets. Now, guitar, it doesn't have to be in order like in the same octave. Like when we think of guys playing a lot of arpeggios, it's like everything's really tightly. They have all these really linear sounding things. You can make it more angular by taking two notes of one octave and one note of another octave. This gets into the idea of drop twos and stuff like that. We're not. Let's stay on Earth here for a second. If we have a bar chord that's like rock and roll D, you know, the Sweet Home, and we have this bar chord of rock and roll D, everything in the arpeggio is there. But what's interesting is when I play this power chord, we only have 1/3. So if I want the third somewhere else, I have to put it down here. So, but what's cool is we can take the 1 and the 5 and put the 3 on top. And this is like instant Eric Johnson type stuff, right? This is what gives him some of that sound that he's so well known for, right? Right? They're getting way into Venus Isle territory. It makes me smile because that's the stuff that I really love, man. Eric is a national treasure. EJ is a god among mere mortals. So to do this kind of thing, I'm taking the scale degrees of D and I'm just moving the root note around to make a bass line. And I'm moving the triads around the top and arpeggiating them, okay? Look, 1, 5, 3 of D. Now the 2 chord is E minor, so 1, 5, minor 3 of E minor. The 3 chords minor, 4 chords major, major, minor, diminished. Do you see what I'm seeing? Everything is diatonic. I see somebody saying diatonic triads. That's correct. Thinker's got it right. But diatonic is a big word that just means it's all from the scale of D. Now, what's not diatonic? 8 Days a Week by the Beatles. That goes to a major 2, so that's not diatonic. That has a, for a second, it's got a Lydian thing. Right. All that kind of stuff. So diatonic means it stays in the scale, the home scale. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 1. Okay, right? All that is diatonic. Now I'm outside of the scale. That's what made it feel like it kind of took a left turn and got over in the multiverses. It got put one multiverse over. Chord families. You're not wrong, but that's like saying guitar, music. Like every chord has families. It's all in which direction the music is going. For instance, if I wanted a very inside sound, That sounds, but that's still inside. Very inside. Now, if I wanted to take a left-hand turn for a second, we could use the chords from Sweet Child of Mine, Sweet Home Alabama. That means we've got a flat 7. We've got 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, flat 7, 1. We end up with the sound. So let's try some of that. Just moving some stuff inward from the chords that outline this. But as the things start sounding more musical, you can kind of tell when my ear takes over and it starts pulling us forward into more musical sounding things. I struggle with being a teacher. I don't consider myself a teacher. I think that would be very egotistical. I'm not a teacher. I'm a player, and I'm sharing ideas. Yes, I teach, but it's more like I Sherpa. I don't feel like I'm a teacher that teaches in the way of, here, memorize these, tell me what they all are, and then I'll grade you on if you're right or wrong. I don't feel like that leads to musicality, honestly. I probably just nuked myself or canceled myself. I probably got people by my buddies at work at University of Tennessee and some friends that work at these music schools rolling their eyes. But I think the way that it works for me is to be a Sherpa in the aspect of, these are the tools. All of these things are tools, but they don't make music. Like if I told you to play all of the chord tones from the Mixolydian, it doesn't make music. You have to think about what that would be in a musical context. That incorporates a set of time feel and a sense of groove. groove and time feel makes something not feel like you're noodling, and it makes something feel like you're making music with the tools. So from point A, where we started, to point F, where we're at now, or G, what I've explained is everything comes from the major scale. 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 1. Earl is saying those are nice diatonic triad patterns. They are until they're not. Like the flat 7 is not diatonic until we decide that we've changed the key center. Keep that in mind, fellas. Diatonic, it's a relative term. If we've got this chord, guess what's not diatonic? That is not diatonic, okay? So as I was navigating certain things, I was leading you in, I was almost like, these are not the droids you're looking for. I was leading you into the idea that everything was in key. But there were a lot of things that weren't in key. None of this and this are not in key. Not in, right? So I don't want to be a know-it-all or a smarty pants or any of that. And if you notice, I steer clear of trying to be too scholastic. There's some really great guys online that I respect and I have a lot of love for. Jens Larson has a lot of really accurate ways of thinking about things from a scholastic point of view, and he's a great teacher in especially the realms of jazz and the applications of jazz. He's a 800-pound gorilla when it comes to those things. There's and he's not the only one. I mean, Ben Unison's another guy. I mean, there's a million guys, right? But for me, I know this stuff because I did go to school for it. But I don't think of this stuff in the heat of battle, right? Does that make sense? Like I'm letting the ear tell me what to do, and the hand knows what that looks like. Very much like when you guys are reading the chat over here to the right, you guys aren't reading that a singular letter at a time. You're probably not even reading it a word at a time. You're probably just going like, that tone is pretty spot on, EJ. Nice. That's a quote right here in the chat. I'm going, that tone is pretty, and that's almost like one collective thing. That tone is pretty. I'm not thinking about the nouns and the subjects and the verbs and all these things. Yes, that's what makes it, but that's not what I'm thinking about when I'm using the English language. So for me, music is a lot like a language. I know that sounds cliche as hell, but it's not meant to be. But music is a bit of a language to me in how I apply it, because it's like if I want, I'm thinking about, it's like all this stuff is just moving around in my head. That's very simple. That's very simple stuff. But I'm thinking about the melodies, and that would immediately go straight into lead playing too, Let's get some sexy stuff going on. bass. It's not really elegant like that. The reason this works on the record is because my bass player's going. So I could play. It's like I can get away with it like that. But yeah, you know, this is how, you know, I think learning your arpeggios and your triads leads to a sense of musicality. You know? All of this stuff is simple arpeggiation, you know? And it's also the arpeggios in like a... I mean, that's straight up arpeggios everywhere, right? And so if you want to expand this into minor territory, you just simply take the third and you drop that down a half step. You know, again. Those are great arpeggios to work on, not from a tablature standpoint, but from a theoretical standpoint, so you can kind of see what happens, right? A minor, E7, A7, D minor, diminish, right? Yeah. So Candyman is saying, I was literally just going to say how about Master Gracie. Yeah, we can take Master Gracie and we have this section at the end of the head. At the end of the head of the tune, we have the chords of C minor, G minor, D7, and then G minor. So we have the triad, the arpeggios. The first one is C minor. Look, here's C minor. I'm starting on the 3 though. It's a very Django Reinhardt move. Because we're going that top note, right? Sounds like working right? And there's some cross picking involved. Let me get in the second camera here, right here. We'll check out the. That's not swept. Some guys online covering it, doing great jobs, by the way. I'm not a hater. They're sweeping that. That's actually alternate picked. Cross picks. Did that work for sweeping? The second section, let's walk through those real quick. That's G minor or C minor. So it shifts halfway through the arpeggio, right? So I'm going C minor, G minor. Yeah, that's how that one works. So C minor. So going up C minor and down G minor. Now we're going to go to that very small C. It's a tough section right there. Yeah. G major. C minor. Right? So when we hear that in context, maybe we just play just a sniff of it. I'm not going to bore you with it. But just a sniff of it so you can see how it works. And I'll call it out as it's coming at you so you can hear it. Yeah? Here we go. Right? If you notice that it's C minor, right? G minor. Here it comes again. Here it goes. C minor. G minor. D. Second part. C minor. G minor. Stuff is still just arpeggiation too. All still arpeggiation, right? Move it up and on. arpeggiation. I didn't even think about that. How do I have that? That's how I do that one. Yeah. So one more time. It's hard to do it slow for some reason. So one more time slow. E flat major. Starting on the 5. B flat. That starts on the 5 of B flat. F, and this is an interesting with the fingering. So that's first finger pinky, first finger middle. Crazy arpeggios. Those are right. So yeah, that's how I do it. Then to B flat, F to F7. G minor. Right. Yeah. And then that last lick's really nasty too, right? Yeah, it's a pretty nutty section of music. What's funny is it doesn't hit the listener like it's as insane as it is, you know? Yeah, so yeah. There you go. That's some arpeggiation for you on your Tuesday. And I hope this helps. I'm gonna hit the chat real quick for any questions. Let's give it up for my new lights. They look great. Super happy. Let's take this down. Look at this. You know? The blue matches the blue. Golly dang, leveling up. I love it. Okay, do certain left-handed positions work better for sweeping? Yeah, really it's more of a fingering thing for sweeping. Like if you're gonna play those style of arpeggios that I just did, maybe take a simpler position of the neck, like D minor. That's a good sweeping one right there. What's a good way to do this? Maybe I do it like this. Get all octaves. That's how I would do like a mega sweep. Mega sweep? So on and so forth. And obviously this is tapped information too. Right? One more time, Andy. So there's certain fingerings that work well. I don't think barring really is very clean sounding. So if I were to have I would play that all independently instead of trying to bar that. That sounds cleaner. What is the trick to the tapping technique? High gain, finger pressure? Yes, I don't really have that much gain on. Check it out. Max gain that I'm playing with. Split signal, roll the volume down. See, I'm not using a ton of gain. that could be argued as a clean tone. To me, it's not really about the gain so much as it is the accuracy. You're trying to be as accurate as possible. Make sure that I don't have this on right now. Here, let me just prove it. That's not on. Okay, so I'm trying to be as accurate as possible with this, right? So there's the open strings of the guitar. And if we want to get some of these taps to come out very clean, let's take... I'm using the back side of my fingers here to mute those high strings. On those, I'm using the low side of my right hand to mute the bass strings. And as I come down, you'll see my hand lift off of it. And it's like, ta-da, you know, but that's not really for show so much as it is how I'm muting the strings. So as I'm going higher into the guitar, these strings get muted. That's all tapped. That sounds swept, but it isn't. Right, right. I would use all these kind of mixing up the bag and using all the different techniques that I know to execute arpeggios to where they don't sound repetitive. I think one of the things that kind of happens is guys play arpeggios the same way every time, so it ends up sounding really repetitive. Dig what I'm saying? Okay. The gain structure is really important. You know, now we're jumping. Larry's being a little too kind, and Larry's saying it's not the gain, it's Andy's hands that's making it smooth and fluid. Thank you. The gain structure, I think, is very important, because when things are too ratty, let's say like a diesel cranked all the way to the moon, or like the Line 6 Insane setting, you know, on the Spiders, Line 6 Insane, or practice amps. When those are so hairy, you can't hear anything and it just sounds mush. So when you go to play a big boy rig, a rig made for an adult, you don't feel very clean. That's what I think happens there. So the gain structure is really important. And I guess if there is a moment that is me being a shill and a salesman trying to get you guys to spend your money on my stuff, I think if there is that moment, it's just to say that we really nailed it with the gearbox. The gearbox is a very smooth, liquidy kind of overdrive. And it's very, I don't know. True World is saying, is the gate always on? I mean, just, you know, I roll it into where it grabs the noise floor, but as you can tell, when I have the guitar up, it's not clamping the door. It's grabbing just a little bit. You know, mentioning the Line 6 and saying gave me PTSD. Yeah, Gearbox and Halo can kind of do a lot of stuff. But you kind of dig what I'm saying with the tapping and the hammer-ons. Don't be baffled. I think don't be baffled. This is stuff you guys can do. When you play, just use enough pressure to get the note. that's getting into a whole different topic for another day. But I hope this clicked, and the arpeggiation thing is something you're into. And look, I have a couple of things to announce, which is cool if you've hung out so far. I have a couple of slots open on Patreon for the Monster tier. And that means that you get a 30-minute lesson with me once a month on top of all of the other things. So I had some guys cycle out who have been with me for a long, long time. And that opened up a couple of slots. So there are a few slots for the Monster tier on Patreon. That includes 4 master classes a month, 1 30-minute Zoom lesson. So those don't come open very often. So that's on patreon.com/AndyWoodMusic. And then if you're going to come at the end of the month, Woodshed is upon us. And if you want to come down, we have a few RV slots that have opened. John, my partner on the camp, has reached out to a company to provide RV slots. And it's a way that, we provide you with an RV there on property. And it's another option for solo cabin, and those are rare. Those are always fill up super fast. So if you want to come to Woodshed, I'm going to give you this code, AWOOD300, and that is August 27th. It's the end of the month. The lineup is Eric Gales, Greg Koch, John Jorgensen from the Helicasters. Martin Miller is coming over from Germany. Amazing to have him over. Justin Derrico. And I've got just confirmed we've got a special guest on our Bluegrass night. So you flat top pickers are going to be happy about that special guest. Promise you that. Going to be fun. And Chuck has put those right down in the chat right there. So the Patreon's there. The Crossville Woodshed Guitar Experience is plugged into the chat right there. And yeah, man, this is the 4th lesson is in depth on Patreon as well. And look, we're talking about revamping some things and revving up really big for the website and condensing things and kind of going with a different approach. So it'll be a great time to onboard. Gonna be good. A lot of cool stuff is in motion. So with that said, I have a lot to get done. I'm drowning in it. I've got to get so much stuff done and get caught up on so many things. Meanwhile, I've also got to practice. I feel like I'm just, yesterday I took all day and I just practiced all day. So I'm going to do a mandolin shootout too, between 3 mandolins. And I've got to restring the main guitar. I haven't even restrung it since I broke a string on it. I've been just too dadgum busy. A lot of stuff's going on, but we're leveling up a lot of things. I hope you guys like my new lights. I think they're super cool. Check it out. Let me show you some tricks. It's really just, simple stuff, but I think it's pretty fun. We could take this, make it, look at that. Freaking take that bad boy, make it orange, right? It's so cool. Is that okay? So we would take this one. Look at this. Now it's orange. Make it orange. Yeah, it's freaking cool, isn't it? That's not bad. Go to purple. Look at that. Freaking dude, look at me go. It's these little lights are pretty cool. Look at them. That's pretty awesome, dude. Pretty good. Pretty good. Okay. That's enough foolishness for today. Little mood lighting. Pretty good. All right, I'm going to get to work. I got so much to do, guys. I just feel like I'm drowning in it. Thanks for hanging out. So use D'Addario's for the Synthy AI tone. Okay, look, Willful is pointing it out. A lot of people have been hitting me up. I'm a D'Addario artist, right? Like, I love their stuff. I think it's great. Here's my hot take, and we're not going to get into it on the depth because I don't have a way that I can come out ahead. Let me tell you why. Because no matter what I say, everybody's going to say you're either a bootlicker or you're right. Like, my opinion doesn't matter. Here's my opinion, knowing that it doesn't matter. D'Addario subbed out this work for this commercial. It's not even an album. It's not a song that's going to promote anything. It's a commercial. Okay, I really could care less. Okay, it's been proven that it's Suno music. Now, I don't know to what depths or to what extent. Frankly, I don't care. It's a commercial. It's 8-string, super processed. It's the metal that's so processed it sounds like AI anyways. And I know that some kids are into that. Frankly, I could care less. I don't think that stuff sounds good. I don't think it doesn't do it for me, right? Neither does accordions, right? So if you're into accordions, I'm not trying to hurt your feelings either. Long story short, it came out that was the thing. And I chimed in. I was like, look, it's a tough spot to be in. Y'all handle it, the way you can handle it. They chimed in and said, look, hey, this blew up in our face. It's on us. We should have checked it, blah, blah, blah. There's been all this discourse around it. Frankly, I love their strings. The strings can withstand my acidic sweat. I have a really high pH, I guess it is, in my sweat. And so I corrode strings really fast. These White Pack XS strings, I'm going to use them. That commercial, it wasn't like an artist putting out an album and then finding out that the album was Suno music, okay? That's number one. Second thing, it sounds like all that Rings of Saturn stuff that I could care less about. No offense to any of those guys that are in Rings of Saturn. No offense to the guys that like that stuff. I could just care less. It's not cool sounding to me. It sounds dorky to me. That's a hot take. Flaming hot take for me. But again, I don't disrespect anybody that's in those kind of bands that use all that processing, but that metal production doesn't sound good to me. I don't think it sounds cool. So they never had me anyways. You know what I mean? And I think there's a lot of guys like me. So that was my hot take on the Dario thing. I'm still using their strings. People will probably call me a bootlicker for not jumping in and, condemning them to hell because of this AI thing in the commercial. Look, it's a string company. I bet they used AI somewhere or Photoshop. They probably used Photoshop to make this label. They're not a photography company. They're not a film house. They're not a record label. Who cares? That's my hot take. Now, if it was Andy Timmons' new record and it came out that it was all Suno music, I'd be like, what did you do, AT? How could you forsake us like this? It'll never happen because he's not that guy. That's why I used him as an example. But that dude that made that thing for them, I guess he's an artist, but you're not making records. You're not Mark Lettieri on record number 7. You know what I mean? It's like, so why do we care again? Because reasons? Because internet? I think there's a lot of things to be up in arms about. I think the Fender thing is more justified, not because of I love Fenders, but I just think it's a little more justified. I think the Diodero thing is a commercial. It's like being mad at them for using Photoshop. I could just kind of care less. What do you guys think? You think I'm crazy? Is AI music the new Milli Vanilli? Maybe, but I think AI music sounds dorky too. It doesn't sound like, for example, this is not a boomer take because I'm not a boomer. But when I hear a Fleetwood Mac record, it sounds cool. The record sounds cool. When I hear a Stone Temple Pilots record, the record sounds cool. It sounds like music to me. And I don't know how to explain it. Zach Top sounds cool. He sounds like music. It doesn't sound like AI'd to death. And look, there's a lot of guys that are into metal and editing it to the point where it sounds all robotic. I don't care. I'm glad that somebody likes it. Dude, look at my guitars. My guitars are very normal working guy guitar. I like the player's player. I like player guitars. Guitars meant for players. I like music that moves me in some way. And when things get so edited to death, I cease to care if an AI did it or if a guy sat there with a billion compressors. I still think the Black Album's the best sounding Metallica record. Hot takes. However, I think Gimme Fuel sounds awesome. But I think Death Magnetic sounds like a mess. It sounds like a mess. The strings are good, I'm not being mean to the boomers. I just think when I said that, I was like, this is a boomer take, but it's not. I'm not a boomer. I think it's important to clarify where you fall in the genealogy. And I'm at that stage in life. I'm in my season of life where I'm, in my 40s, and I'm too old for the 28-year-olds and the 30-year-olds, and I'm too young for the boomers. Nobody wants me. You know what I mean? I don't have a home. But that's nothing new, because I've been too rock and fusion for the country guys and too country for the metal guys. So it's like, who cares what I think anyways? You know what I mean? I just like what I like, and I know what that is, and I know the kind of music that I like, and I know the music that I want to make, and I know the statement that I want to make on my records and my albums. Like, I know that. That's my compass pointing north. I know what kind of guitar to make. I know that this universally will probably solve a lot of people's problems. Not because it's an Andy Wood signature model, because I made the telly for guys that don't like tellies. You know what I mean? It's very pragmatic. I'm a very pragmatic type of person. I can't understand the roar, roar, roar and all the song Love Lost. It's just interesting to me. Boomers. Can you play something you like? Yeah, I can. Fiddle tune that I used to play with my granddad on the front porch called Whiskey Before Breakfast. Now, I like that, It's not the flashiest thing on the planet, but it's not even the most rocking thing on the planet, but I like it, Same way with the music that I make, I wrote that tune about 12 years ago. It was on the Caught Between Truth and Lie record 13 years ago. Gosh, it's been that long. Yeah, it has, hasn't it? Yeah, 12 years or so. That tune is called For the Queen. For the Queen, So, yeah, I like that. That's what I like to make. So, man, have a great week, guys. Be blessed. I'm drowning in all the things that I have to get done. Bear with me. So pour one out for your boy trying to get stuff done. Yeah. So, those are my hot takes and arpeggios and all the good stuff. Again, boys, girls, have a great week. Be blessed. Patreon for channel support. that's the only reason I get to do these live streams is because Patreon members. So if you want to keep the live streams going, go over to Patreon, throw some money in the beer bucket. Cheers.